Oh, you left the branding up. And at 3 minutes in, just as predicted, buddy, what? Now is not the time, sir. I told him I would do savings throws at 3 minutes in. You don't show up until exactly 3 minutes. There's a cat. I'm talking to a cat. Hey, see there. You can see his ear. There. That's him. That's Buddy the cat. Here's the savings throws. So you get to pick survival, social, wisdom, or heart as the basis for your savings throw. If you're heart or indigo, you get +3 from the Nat 20 earlier today. Today we're doing a special show. This Enlightened America edition Elon. The JBP Musk highlights the other ones. We're calling it one of the help the algorithm episode streams, and that's why I thought maybe I'd beat Baxter to it if I got on it fast enough. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. And if you're watching the replay in the morning, you get a +5 if you comment now. Survivalist with a 9. With a 9 there. Socialist. Not 1. No bonuses for you. Lovers of wisdom, pair of chakras, 14. 14 for you heart folks, making it just fine. Just fine with the 10 there. Indigo kids, the number of transformation. Welcome, everybody, to the special highlights of the thing with the look at that. We're talking about that. They did this, and that's new, and all of that and more on today's Help the Algorithm stream with Grim Chris. Tonight. It's nighttime here. What? Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all. Now, if you were aware and around for the stream earlier today, you know that I mentioned the vocal distance in the background and the background compression that the story does. And you might have missed the appearance because you might have saw when he brought us Beauregard strawberries. But he plays into this evening's story, so I thought I would dig up the Michigan deck card for the show as the 8 of clubs. I thought I'd dig up his last talk with Pastor Paul when he was bringing us the network in the background, and it'll be a convenient time to feed Buddy.
And so what he's seeing is, so Searle talks about the background, the network, and the network of intentionality is all the ideas, all of your intentional conscious content.
There you go.
Right? Everything that's about something, dreams, visions, ideas, thoughts, goals, all the artifacts of consciousness, the things that furnish your conscious world and your ideas. That's right. Intentionality just means ofness or aboutness. So anytime you have a thought of something or about something, that's intentionality.
Yep.
And he's saying you have a network of intentionality, all of these intentional bits of intentionality of knowing things and feeling things and having thoughts about things and imagination, and all of that forms a network of intentionality. And that gets meaning up against a background. And the background is a set of capacities, things like knowing a language, having a prefrontal cortex, being able to see, having senses, the capacity to use language, the ability to think. And the background, and he says this in his book on perception, he says there's no hard and fast line between the background and the network. Just like there's no hard and fast line between a tree and its roots. They kind of bleed into each other.
Right.
And what's happened is that the larger background, when you have a shared background, your network of intentionality, you can use the network of intentionality to get clarity, to have meaning, and to communicate.
Yep.
But when the
People are remarkably calm, and obviously I'm not saying we all have to lose our minds, but it is interesting. People are very disconnected. People are like, wild times. Like, that's the most you're getting out of normies about any of this. They're like, wild times. Wild times out there. And you're like, well, maybe it requires more analysis than that. Well, there's some wild times happening. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's the only thing you should say about it. They're all just showing up. Hopefully none of this is a plot, none of it's coordinated, none of these people are... I'm hoping that that's the case. That would be lovely. They used to put so much work into lying to it. Now there's no work being put into the lies. That should offend you the most. It's really amazing that they don't put any work into the lying. They don't put any work into the fucking lying anymore. Man, they used to really come up with fucking good lies. It would take years and journalists to unravel these lies. Move on.
What is that? Why, that's Denimor's Denny. He's available on the hat you didn't set up. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone like JGAT is. Been a long time since we've seen the JGAT, or at least a day or so. Okay, so that guy, the guy that brought us the Intentionality Network in the background, he was over on the Twitter today, and because his Papa Peterson is blocking me, it took him for me to find out the clip that everybody and their mother's going to be talking about, where he he writes this love letter to Elon over there. It starts off with, of all the stories I've heard of people hitting their woke breaking point, Elon's may be the most heartbreaking. This is the clip everybody else is going to be talking about. And here's where he starts his love letter to Elon Musk about how awesome he is for buying X. Okay. And as such, I came aware that there was a conversation, therefore, then between Elon Musk and Papa Peterson. And I did not discover he had updated his thumbnail to the Enlightened America edition of the Devil's Champion costume. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He remains in the Devil's Champion costume, but now he's all superpower enlightened and the blood red America bonus. It's kind of like that painting they did of the king, right? But anyway, he talks to Papa Peterson. I have the clips that are not the part about his son and the woke thing that everybody else is going to forget about for you. Those other highlights, the other ones on today's The Other Ones streams. The JP Musk Highlights Enlightened America edition. Welcome. I hope you're feeling virtually not alone. And here is my avatar for Elon.
So say we all. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Ho, ho, ho.
But before we get into that, Jonathan Dumir put out some hot, fresh what's, and we're going to enjoy the one he calls advertising and idolatry.
An icon in idol is that the icon affords the transcendent. That is, it is pointed to. It is not something which stops at itself, but rather leads up towards higher participation. So it's like if I encounter an image of Saint John the Baptist, well, the image of Saint John the Baptist only exists in my life because he pointed to Christ, and that image of Christ only exists in my life because he pointed to the infinite, invisible, transcendent. And so that is the way that icons function. They're a kind of ladder of participation. The idea about idols is that in some ways they are factitious. They try to capture it all in themselves, right? They try to kind of capture your attention and keep it within its sphere. The idol doesn't offer itself up to a higher participation. And so I would say that in our world now, we are surrounded with idols constantly. That is, we are constantly asked to give our attention to things in ways which are purely subservient to the thing itself, right? Advertising itself has a form of idolatry to it, because the sometimes advertising can be pointing to a higher good, but most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's just like, buy this thing, it will accomplish all your desires. I will give you what you want if you get this thing. And so there's a sense in which if I can just get that, then I will get what I want. The idol.
All right, it goes on, but look, this is beautiful. Did he take something before? Look at John in this.
Accomplish all your desires. I will give you what you want if you get this thing. And so there's a sense in which if I can just get that, then I will get what I want. The idol affords you.
Thanks, Dumia, for catching that one for us. Hiya, Clint. We're doing a Devil's Champion Elon, the Enlightened America edition, the JBP Musk highlights. We're almost there. Let's get an agency deck card of the show, and point out. I don't awfully often wield you guys like an army, but I need some prayer warriors tonight. I think the agency deck card of the show is the 5 of Hearts. You see, the reason this stream is happening is because my good DM Slacarius and a crew have been swarmed by an illness. And so since he's not DMing me like he's supposed to be, I thought it'd be great if you all prayed for the health of him and his family and just poured the prayers all over him. And that would be great, and that'll teach him for not being my dungeon master tonight. Here's Enlightened Elon America edition. The first timestamp we have for you is 4422. 4422, which starts right.
I think Adam's central point is good. And
that was good enough to resolve that crisis.
It was for me at least.
Yeah.
And so, like, is this a religion? I don't know. Maybe it is, but I think it's a good one. I'd call it the religion of curiosity.
Yeah. Well, the ancient god of the Mesopotamians, his name was Marduk, and he was the best.
Hi, I'm opening up to you about my religion. I just said it's curiosity. And then Peterson's like, I'm going to tell you a story about Marduk. He later says curiosity, enlighten, and enlightenment, but I'm not finding the timestamp. But that's his new religion, and curiosity and enlightenment. And I don't know personally if this is like a signal of distress, that it's like some secret cult sign of distress, or if Jordan Peterson just gives the man a headache. But like constantly through the interview, there's that. What's it an hour to, Grim?
That material forms are trying to flesh out. And so in some sense, the possibility of consciousness is inherent in the hydrogen atoms, right? Obviously, because it emerged.
Yeah.
So it's a tautology in some ways, but
maybe everything's conscious in some way. Maybe it's just degrees of consciousness or concentrations of consciousness.
Yeah, well, I wonder if that's
maybe the biological substrate developed neurological systems that tune in consciousness the way a radio does. Maybe. 136. Hey. Oh, that's a lot more yet. There.
Worried about AI safety because, well, his view is that we'll all be essentially upload our minds to computers, and then humans, there won't really be a need for humans. And I thought that was I was like, what team are you on, Larry?
Hard on the humans there.
Right. What team are you on? And I said, we really need to make sure humanity thrives and grows. And then he called me a speciesist for saying that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I guess I am, pro-human. What are you?
Right. That's the question.
Yeah.
If you're not pro-human, that's not nothing.
That's
right. That's something else. You're pro something.
I think it's a crazy thing to not be pro-human. I mean,
what the deuce is going on with that camera?
I'm, pro-human. What are you?
Right. That's the question.
Yeah.
If you're not pro-human, that's not nothing.
That's
right. That's something else. You're pro something.
I think it's a crazy thing to not be pro-human. I mean, if humans are not going to be on Team Human, who is?
I mean, I'm sitting there watching it like this because of that cameraman.
So that was the final straw, really. And I was like, okay, we really need some new AI company to serve as a counterbalance to Google, because at the time they had almost all of the great AI researchers. They had massive computing power, massive financial resources, and it was very much a unipolar world with respect to AI.
Right.
And then he defended earlier his entrance into AI and that it's a multipolar trap. Please see our coverage of, not our coverage, but coverage of Daniel Schmachtenberger and his coverage of multipolar traps. Okay, 148. What else we got?
You get ahead. So one of them is being a meritocracy. As much of a meritocracy as possible, such that you get ahead as a function of your hard work and your skill, and nothing else.
Yeah.
Which is why I would be opposed to, for example, things like DEI.
Adrian Wooldridge documented the fact that the alternative to meritocracy historically is nepotism and dynasty.
Absolutely.
It's not equity.
Speaking of nepotism,
it's nepotism and
speaking of nepotism, he mentioned that he did have 12 children in this interview. Okay, and then that one, I don't know why that one was there anymore. But this one we might be able to figure out.
So that I'm speculating here, but since we're not unionized, we're, I think, a very happy workforce, and I'm out there on the factory floor. I don't see if people are happy. It's a good vibe.
Well, they're engaged in something ridiculously exciting.
It's
at
cool.
minimum. Well, that's not nothing. People can go a long ways if they're part of a project that's aiming at Mars, let's say. That's definitely aiming up. So that's really exciting. That's a real opportunity for people.
Yeah.
What do you think of Trump?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to, I don't sort of subscribe to cults of personality.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really just, we've got a choice of administrations, and we have to pick one.
Yeah.
I think both.
That's where RFK is crying during this whole thing. He's just crying. Okay, so there's some highlights in this in service of the algorithm. What? Those are Illuminati hands? Well, shoot, Rascal, that'd be like we were. That would be almost as if we were.
The list?
Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast magic missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting magic missile. Why are you casting magic missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
Oh, well, you better watch out, Lance. We're casting the darkness on his Illuminati hands, apparently. Let's see which one she's talking about. Is it those thumbs there?
Yeah.
What do you think of Trump?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to, I I don't sort of subscribe to cults of personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it that? Is Oh, and everybody gets a +4 if they're fast enough. So is this it, Rascal? Is that the ones he's doing? Do we get bonus points for doing that? So those are the other highlights. You guys are gonna see that woke stuff plenty. But remember, Embody, he's got the religion of +4, +4. You only get one +4, even if you use both ears. +4 the next stream saves. Thank you so much. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow because the kayfabe vet trip. You only get +2 if you type it, Josh. You only get +2. Okay. Where are we at? Oh yeah, we're recapping. He's got a religion. It's curiosity and enlightenment and meritocracy and Americana. And he's still the devil's champion. How about we have Peterson, Papa Peterson? Why don't you have your good friend Jonathan Paggio go over the symbolism of this for you, huh? Remember it. Okay, and he said the Biden administration put him in a damned if you do, damned if you don't trap, with some hiring some DEI people. And Peterson said, "Why do you think they did that?" That was the unions clip, and it occurs to me that if Elon Musk is going to make the claim that unions are fundamentally in control of the Democratic Party, then those of us that consider ourselves wanting to be informed might figure out who runs the unions. And I'm not taking the train out tonight. We're gonna jam out to the. I cherish the truth one. Okay. Good night, everybody.
It's a whisper in your ear, now listen here. Remember, Embody, it's all so clear. No hidden strings, no puppeteer. We're by your side, have no fear. I cherish truth. I cherish truth. Remember, Embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.
Rascal, we don't have a soda ad. But we do have this one.
Are you sick and tired of being asked about the TLC? When you look at this corner, do you not even think that it's a thing? Well, if you're like me, raise your hand. Because I got what you need. You need Telos tea. That's right. Grab yourself a nice hot cup of Telos tea. Not Telos tea. It's not a thing.
Good night, everybody.